I can't tell you how many nights I used to lay in bed and stare at these doors and wish that I could make a change. Now, it didn't always look this cluttered. This was right before we started our project, but so many nights I would lay there and think there has got to be a better solution. The door on the left goes into my closet and it took up so much space and you couldn't get to anything behind the door. And I just knew that if I had some sliding doors, it would just make so much more sense. The door on the right goes into the master bathroom and it essentially cut the bathroom in half. And so I knew if I could change the way that it opened, it would save me some space in the bathroom as well. Well, apparently I didn't take a lot of photos of the bathroom before the renovation, so I don't have many to show you, but check out what I did just find. If you guys watched the bathroom renovation video, you may remember where Art pointed out our full-length mirror in the bathroom that I painted black, and he mentioned that it was originally a turquoise mirror. Well, here that mirror is. I honestly didn't think I had any photos of that, but here you go. Here is proof that it was originally a turquoise mirror. Oh, and if you didn't see that bathroom renovation, I will link it up here in the upper right-hand corner so that you can go watch that next. Now, I know some people might say the barn door trend is going out of style. I don't know. What I do know is they make a great way to save space and dress up your look as well. Barn doors don't have to be quite so barny or rustic, I guess you could say. We definitely went with a different look for our laundry room. So today I'm going to show you two different styles of barn doors that we have created in our house to dress up the area and save space. And we did it on an extreme budget, as we usually do. I think you guys are going to be surprised, and if you are thinking about doing any DIY doors, I'm going to be extremely detailed in this video so that you can plan out your entire project in advance so that you don't have any surprises like we did. I'm going to show you the areas where we messed up and what we would do different the next time. Okay, the very first thing you need to do is take your measurements. You need to measure from the outside of the door frame. You need your height from the top of the door frame down to the ground and the width of your door space. Now, you can remove the frame if you choose to. We wanted an option to where we could leave the framing in place and not have to deal with all of that, just because that entails a whole lot more that we didn't want to have to do. So what I'm showing you today allows you to leave your existing framing in place. Now I want to tell you what tools you'll need for this project, and then we'll get back to our measurements. So you will possibly need a saw. It just depends on if your store will cut the planks down for you. A drill would be handy too. Other than that, you'll need some wood glue and some screws. One suggestion I have is to get you some large clamps. That's one mistake I made, was not investing in larger clamps. I just now checked Harbor Freight and realized these 36-inch clamps are under $10. I can't believe the stress I put myself through when this would have solved that issue. So take it from me, large clamps are going to be your best friend when it comes to building out your door. Now let's get back to those measurements. One important thing to note is that prices have come down in recent years. We built these doors back in 2022, and as I do a quick search online, I can see that the prices are definitely more reasonable now than they ever were before. So I need to advise you to check prices after you get your door measurements before you invest in the materials to build your doors, just to make sure that you really will be saving money. And before we go any deeper on that, I do want to show you, I found this very inexpensive door at Lowe's, but I noticed it had low reviews. So let me show you some of these reviews. If you want to pause this and read what some of the people were saying, I think that helps you understand what you would be getting into. And as far as this particular kit goes, I believe you're still doing all of the work that you would be doing with our DIY project. So it's not really saving you anything other than that they are bundling everything together into one package, which if you look at the links in my description, I'm also making it simple for you by including links to everything that you're going to need, except that ours will actually work and won't be warped or have any of these issues that are mentioned in the reviews. Okay, we're ready to get into our measurements now. If you read those reviews, then you might have noticed in his images, the first guy, it does look like that kit comes out to be very similar to what we have done here. But let me show you why doing it DIY is the better way to go. First of all, it depends on what your measurements are. I believe my door is a standard measurement and it's 36 inches wide and 84 inches tall. Now we'll get into how you need to figure in your hardware. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but I want to show you the secret to this door is tongue and groove plank flooring. That is actually what we use, and I'm going to show you. I think online it's showing as $12 a plank right now. When we bought it, it was like $7.98 a plank. Okay, but you can see that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 of those. Okay, now we used 7 of those planks because they are about 5 inches wide. So 7 times 5 is 35 inches, and then we knew we could put some trim around to help us get to our 36-inch width. Okay, you get where I'm going there? Now, the length, this is an important thing. The way that we did ours, we did this so that we could save some money. So back when we were doing this, the planks I said were almost $8. So we'll just use 8 as a nice round number. And they sell them in 12-foot lengths. And since we needed 2 doors, we bought the 12-foot lengths and then cut them in half. And we bought 7 of those, okay? So back then, 7 of them at $8 would have been $54 a door. Well, I mean, actually, that was for both doors, $54 for both doors. And now with $12 a plank, it's going to be 7 times 12 is 84, I think. So 56 previously, 84 now. Anyway, that's for both doors. And then what we have to do is we have to make up the difference because when we cut them in half, we only had 6-foot length, right? And like I said, up here to the top of the door frame is 84 inches. So this is 72 inches long. We needed 84 inches. So we needed to add 12 more inches. Do you get that? And of course you want to balance it out so that it doesn't look wonky. So we took 1x6s and glued them up to the top and to the bottom, okay? Here's where you can learn from our mistake though. So of course I did tell you about me wishing that I had just went ahead and bought some longer clamps. It would have made this so much easier. So what we did to secure these together, because it's tongue and groove, I just put a bead of glue inside the little line, smashed the two together, and clamped two pieces at a time with my clamp, so like maybe these two, and then these two, and then these two. Once they were all dry after 24 hours, then I started piecing the different sections together. But had I had a larger clamp, it would have been a whole lot easier. But what I didn't know at the time was that we were going to have to go ahead and trim this out all the way. And now that we know that, we realize that it would have made more sense if we had attached these trim pieces, which are 1x4s, and we used furring strips, so it wasn't expensive. So take some 1x4s, and obviously we went with the 8, wait, is that 8? No, 7? Yeah, 7-foot length. 7-foot length of 1x4 furring strips, okay? So one on each side, and that's on both doors. So we needed 4 of those. I'll pop up how much that cost on the screen because I don't remember. But we took 4 of those, and we wound up having to secure these onto the edge of this end plank, right? Same thing over here, okay? Because we couldn't exactly get these headers, well, I guess you could say headers and footers, we couldn't get those to stay on because we didn't have any way to secure them. So now that we've done this before, what we would recommend that you do is attach these first before you attach your header and footer. You just need to remember that this is gonna go out further than the door, right? And then once you've got this secured on the front, then you can go back, flip it over, and from the back side, you can go back and add in your 1x6 at the top and bottom. Does that make sense? If you have questions about that, please do let me know. I'm sure I could have explained that a little better. But then we had to go back and add some 1x4s at the top and bottom just to finish it off, just to make it look complete. Otherwise, it would have looked kind of funny. But anyway, like I said, we just used furring strips. They weren't expensive at all. And I always like to buy everything in longer lengths because you can save money that way. So I like to buy, anytime I'm using wood, I like to buy it in a longer length and then just cut it down myself. And that's a great way to make your money go a little further. Okay, let me show you real quick what I mean. I'm using 1x8s as my example, and as you can see here, the 4-foot is 1039, 6-foot is 1386, 8-foot 1732, 10-foot 2165, 12-foot 2598, and the 16-foot is 3118. So the reason why I want to show you that is if you divide that out and find your price per foot, what you would come up with is the 4-foot board is $2.60, 6-foot is $2.31, 8-foot, 10-foot, and 12-foot all come to $2.16, and then the 16-foot is $1.95. So we did the 16-foot. We needed 3 foot at the top, 3 foot at the bottom, so that's 6 feet per door. So that's 12 feet total. So with a 16-foot board, we cut it down ourselves. We actually had 4 feet left over that we were able to use on other projects. So then I have talked about this in a past video, but once we had the door up, there was a gap here where you could see into the bathroom. And so Art fixed that by just getting an 8-foot long or 7-foot long, whatever 80, no, that would be 8 foot long. Okay, he got an 8 foot long 1x3 and attached it here, and then see, you cannot see in at all. And then from this side, it's not attached there, but see, this is a corner, and we have a recliner in this corner, so nobody's going to be able to just see in over here anyway. So anyway, so that is all that there is to those doors. We did 7 of the 12-foot tongue and groove planks, glued those together. Once we had all 7, now remember, you're going to need to take your measurement. So if your door is wider or not as wide as a 36-inch door, then let's talk about it and I'll help you figure out what measurements you need to go off of. And then take your 1x4s, and you can use more expensive wood if you want to. We just like to do everything on a budget, so that's why we use furring strips. So I would attach the 1x4s to both edges, and you're going to have it overhang just a little bit. Well, I guess it's really not that much, because here's your, come on, focus. There is your tongue and groove. It won't focus. There we go. And there's the 1x4. So, okay. So then once you have attached those on your sides, the lengthwise, flip this thing over, attach your 1x6. Now you'll want to put a bead of glue in between the 1x6 and the edge of your tongue and groove so that you're kind of gluing them together. But then while the glue is drying, you can screw that 1x6 into this 1x4 from the back side, and then once it has dried, then you'll be secure up there. Same thing down here. And then after you're done with that, then you can go back and figure out how much space you need to fill in for another 1x3 up here at the top and at the bottom. And then your hardware kit. Now I know we paid a little bit more than this. We bought our separate. We bought the sliders, and same thing with that one over there. We bought the slider, I think it was about $50 back then, and then we bought the handle and the little rolly track thing separate. But anyway, while I was looking that up for you guys so that I could include the link in the description, I am including the link to the one that we bought. That will be in there. But I found there's another one that has all of that together in one kit for like $34.99, and it's the 6.6 foot length, which is what we used. So I can't vouch for the quality of it, but it looked like it was very similar, but it has the handle and all that stuff all in one, and it was actually cheaper than just buying the rail by itself, much less having to add in the door handle. Now, you will want to pay attention because it's not, I specifically wanted this door handle. I just really liked this style. The door handle that comes with that kit, which I'm going to include both links in the description. So I'll have the one for this and the one that's an all-in-one kit so that you can make your choice. But we could still go back and paint this or stain this, but so far we've just really enjoyed this look. So we haven't changed it yet, but we may one of these days. And then also, once you're done, you can choose, because on this side, see, it has that different look. So you can choose which side you want to be the front and the back. We chose the wider plank side to be our front, while this is the back side, but you could totally do it opposite of that if you wanted. And then you can see also, Art did use these L brackets. I think that's what he originally started with. You can see where he made a few mistakes when he was trying to attach that header for me. But He tried to use the brackets to get the two attached, but then realized that we needed, I think what the reason why, yeah, that's what it was. We actually had to add the 1x4s because of the brackets. We needed the extra depth that that provided. So that's why. So that's one of the things that you can learn from us, is that that part was necessary in order to get those on there properly. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But that's where, if we ever did this again, now we know that you have to use the 1x4 in the beginning anyway. And so that would have saved us a lot of heartache of trying to struggle with trying to figure out how to get that header and footer attached when it was as simple as just attaching it to the 1x4. So you guys can save a lot of time by skipping all the stress that we went through, and just know that you're going to need the 1x4 anyway. So you might as well go ahead and just attach it in the beginning, and then that solves all of your issues. And then we have a 1x6 up here, which is necessary. You've probably noticed that in most of the barn door pictures that you see. You have to, it's better to have something to mount the hardware to. There's a whole mathematical equation to this that I can't, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so I can't think well enough to explain that to you at this moment. But before I finish this video, I may have Art jump in here to talk about how he got that assembled and hung. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. That's why I'm trying to give you as many close-ups as I can so that you can kind of get the gist of how it goes. But you do have these spacers because it has to bump out, because obviously if you didn't have spacers and you just had this like pressed completely up against the framing, every time it slides back and forth, you'd be scratching the door up, you'd be scratching your framing up, you know. So you have to have a little bit of space. And then also you have to account for how much length you're going to have. So like after you've built your door, you kind of need to measure that out, how much space you need to get that attached up there at the top so that it can sit perfectly on the railing and not have any gaps in the floor. And then of course you also want it to smooth or slide smoothly across the floor and not be like snagging the carpet or anything like that, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness, guys, this video has already been so long. If you are still here, thank you so much. I've been trying to be incredibly detailed on this video so that I can answer any questions that you may have. So if I've been confusing at all, please do post those in the comments and I will get back to every single one of you. I promise you that. I did, when I was going back through, I started thinking as I was trying to do all the math for you and everything, I was like, why is this not adding up right? And I went back and remeasured and realized what I was saying earlier in the video, that is not a 1x6 that we use as the header and footer. That is 1x8. That's why when I showed you the calculation, it was 1x8 that I used for the math of how much we spent, because that, I was saying earlier, I think that it was a 7 foot, and it's a 7 foot opening, but it's 84 inches from the ground up to the top of the frame. But since you have to go up even higher than the frame a little bit, that is where it actually was 86 inches. So anyway, so we used 1x8. So, you know, so you've got the 6 feet of your tongue and groove, right? That was 6 feet, which is what, 72 inches. And then we did, so 8 inches and 8 inches at the top and bottom. So that's 16 inches on top of the 72 inches, gives you 88 inches, right? So anyway, so that is how we got to that, because the frame was 84 inches, so it gave us an extra 4 inches above the frame, if that makes sense. that doesn't make sense, just let me know in the comments and I'll explain it a little better. So if any of my math in the video is confusing, that's why. But oh my goodness, I'm just having all kinds of issues trying to get this video wrapped up. My other camera just died. So anyway, I want to go ahead and finish this, although I've still got a whole another door to show you, and that is our laundry room door. So I'm going to make that a separate video because this video has gotten way too long already. So our normal posting schedule right now is every Thursday. So I'm trying to add in a second day of the week, and I haven't figured out yet what day that's going to be. So I will probably, whatever week it falls on that this video is going to post, I will make sure that that laundry room barn door video is posted in that same week, like the very next video. So by that point that this video posts, I will pin it, I will post it in the pinned comment what day that video is going to be out so that you know. And then, of course, if you're subscribed, you'll get the notification also. And then I have another surprise from that other video, and I'm going to show you a sneak peek of it right here, because after I finish that barn door video, I'm going to do a new video over our laundry room renovation. I've covered our laundry room renovation reveal, that is a mouthful, over on our other channel, Second Mile Journey. I did that like a long time ago when we first really got active on our channels. So that is what I'm going to do on the next laundry room video. I'm going to go into a deep dive of why I wanted certain features like steps so that I could get up to the higher shelves, and built-in dog dishes, and laundry storage and all that stuff, because I wanted a clean and organized laundry room that wasn't cluttered every time somebody walked through it. Those will be the next two videos after this one. Remember to go the second mile today for someone in your life and with your resources.